Hello, today I'm going to go over how to possibly integrate Arduino into an art piece, or at least just show you a couple of very slightly unsophisticated ways in which I've done it in the past, but maybe it'll give you some ideas for your projects. So I have right here next to me the very first piece I ever integrated Arduino into an art piece with. This is actually a painting / embedded video, and if you see, I'll try to put my knee up and hold it up for you. This is acrylic paint on plexiglass. The black part here is a video, and whenever there's a sensor up here, so whenever you walk up to it, it'll start to move. This video will start to play, and here's a video of the piece actually working. And so this piece is gathering a bit of dust, but I'll show you the back of it also. Again, one of the first times I ever made a piece like this, so I was just sort of experimenting with how to do it. I got this monitor at Goodwill. It still works, and it has hangs on a wire here. At first, the thought was, oh, I'll just attach it to the top and that'll be fine. So if we zoom in on this piece, you'll see that the very first idea is just get it onto the piece and that'll be okay. I don't have to cover it up at all. People will just see the wires, fine. I quickly moved away from that, but I'll show you a close-up. So here's the Arduino Uno gathering lots of dust, as you can see, and it's just secured onto the top with a couple screws. The breadboard is glued. The first thing that I ever played with was an ultrasonic sensor, which measures distance, and that's all secured to the wooden frame. And then this is also, I was experimenting with using a Raspberry Pi, which is this a little tiny computer, and the Raspberry Pi is actually the way that I'm able to project that video. So it's got an operating system on it, and so I can play video, and I did this using processing. That's a little bit better image of the frame, and I just have an extension cord here with two power sources this is connected to the monitor, this is connected to the Arduino, I believe, or one of them might be to the Raspberry Pi. I don't know what I did here. It's been a while, but that's how that works. Okay, and then the piece that I made after that was the transaction, which is large scale painting that has a monitor on the back. The monitor is actually attached to the wall that it's hanging from, and there's space between the wall and the painting. And then I loved the ultrasonic sensor, so I played with it again, and I just really crudely cut 2 holes in the painting itself and fit in the sensor. I don't know if I have any images, but I'll try to put them here right now. And then I built a shelf on the back side to hold some of the equipment, so I was just sort of trying to figure out how it would work. And that was all pretty basic. So I moved from attaching it to the top to actually embedding it behind something. And then I talked about this in the last video, but for the Kinetic Contemplations installation, where you had to touch a hand to get the projection to react, I just have this wooden hand covered in graphite paint and a screw attached to the side. I drilled a hole, I put the screw in, and then I wrapped a wire around, and the wire stretched all the way to some corner of the room where nobody was looking anyway, that I had built a box to hold all of the Arduino, the laptop, the excess wire, and everything like that. That one was pretty easy. And then the wires just you tape them to the ground using, I can't remember the name of right now, but I'll put it right here. And Cool. And then so a piece that I'm working on right now is a found object sculpture, which is what my students are working on right now. And I had found this glass head, and I really wanted to just make a, like, not just a lamp, but an artwork out of it. So essentially it is a lamp, but it's supposed to be an art piece as well. And I'll show a video of like this base that I built and how the head inserts into the base right now. And then I covered that base, which you can see here, with foam. And so the glass head inserts here, and there's like a hole in the base where the wire goes. And then I had created a box that I secured to the wooden piece here. So there's like two wooden pieces. It's this piece and this piece. And here's an image of that. And then I have to do more work to this because you can see all the screws are still in there. So I have to like cut the screws off because I didn't have the right size screws. But the hole from the top of the piece, this is where the wires are gonna come out of. The Arduino and everything will be placed in here. And this is the correct size. I measured it before I made it. And then I will probably end up creating another hole in the side of this that comes out somewhere the side of the foam, so that the wire can attach to anything that is going to be capacitive. So I've got these 3D hands that I'm going to attach to the whole sculpture, and it's not done yet, so we don't know exactly what it will look like, but there's going to be a wire that has to attach to those 3D hands that will be like coming up on the head. And so whenever you touch the hands, the light inside of the head will turn on. So it's all embedded in this base. This is gonna look a lot cooler eventually. It's gonna be really colorful, really pretty, but it's a work in progress. The bottom is actually still drying. The big dome thing that I built, which I'll show you here, it had a pulse sensor inside of it, and it measured the participant's heart rate, and the heart rate made the projection inside react and have audio as well based off of the user's like heart. So the idea is that the participant is giving life to this tumor, essentially. The participant would just walk up to the pedestal and inside of the big dome, and you can see this hand here, and it would be the other hand, but there's a pulse sensor right here, and the pulse sensor is essentially just duct taped to the bottom of this plexiglass. And even though there's, you know, plastic in between the hand and the sensor, all the sensor needs is like light. And I'm not going to go into how pulse sensor works right now, but it would work anyway with that barrier. So this pedestal I didn't have to make, but what I did make was a false top here. This whole, if you see these lines, it'll sort of give away the false top. So like this is a pedestal, and then there's a wood piece, a wood piece, a wood piece, and then there's one on the other side, a little box. And I put slits. It's not perfect, but I used the table saw to just have slits in these two pieces so that this piece of plexiglass that I laser cut would slide in and out. So if you take this and you slide it, you can see, and it won't come all the way out because I still have it attached inside there, but this is where the Arduino is hiding. And like, there we are. Arduino's under there, sensors taped to the top, and the Arduino has to be powered, right? So I made a little hole here so that you could put an extension on this and it would reach a power it would reach power. So this is starting to get a little smarter with the Arduino integration, because this system, as well as the system that I'm creating over here, is in an effort to make things modular, or to be able to like take it apart so I can fix it and then put it back together. And then one more thing that I'll say about this is I painted the other side of the plexiglass so that when people touch it, it's not gonna get all messed up. Lastly, sorry for the weird lighting. I have this box light here. I'm trying to walk around my house and still get a decent enough video to show y'all. But lastly, I'm going to show you this piece, the back of it, and how I integrated Arduino into it. So here on the front, if you get close, I didn't integrate them as well as I should have, but there are nails here, like on all of the gray pieces, hammered in. And then I'll give you a close-up look, but right here, I've got this NeoPixel LED strip inside of this tubing that I got from Lowe's, and I sanded down, and it's not perfect, but it's good enough for me. And right here, I need to close this space, but this is where the wire is going out, and I drilled a hole from the back. So I'll show you, I'll do a close-up on that, on the nails that I need to finish better. Y'all are getting the inside scoop here, so don't tell anyone. But and then I'm gonna show you the back. Okay, here is one of the nails that you can see. So that connects to all this paint over here. And then a close-up of the tubing. So fun fact, you can see this, which indicates whatever, I don't know, the type of pipe it is, or the type of tubing, and maybe when it was made, who knows. But yeah, you can faintly see the LED strip. I had sanded it down to diffuse the light, and so here you can see it exists inside there, and you can see the wire going through the canvas, which is here, and the wood, which is here. So I actually drilled straight through the canvas here as well. Here's the back of the In the Clouds piece, and this frame is made of 3 different wooden components. So stuff is attached to the back of the wooden panel where the canvas is on. That's actually another piece in the back. I like to build frames, and I actually poured latex onto that one. And it has an embedded monitor, so the black screen's a video. But let's get a little bit close up, and you can see the nails coming through the board. And if you get closer to the nails, you can see that I had soldered them, and this was my first time ever soldering, so it's not like super pretty, but I soldered the wire to the nail. And this is capacitive touch, so it's all similar wiring to what I showed in the first tutorial video on capacitive touch. But those wires are then connected to Arduino. And you can see these numbers here, 2, 3, 4. These were all in an effort to stay organized during the process. So they refer to something in the code. Because I wanted each piece to be like each capacitive sensor to instigate like a different color. Cool, so here's the wiring. This is the Arduino Mega, and I secured it to the back using screws similar to the first piece I showed, and glued the breadboard onto that wooden piece. And you can see the hole where the NeoPixel wires are coming out of from the front, and then they needed to be connected to their own separate power source. So this is all something I learned through the NeoPixel website how to do. And then you can see it's connected to this extension cord here. And you see how flat
and that piece is connected to the Arduino Mega. So powering the LED and the Arduino Mega separately using this outlet. And I needed to figure out a way to make it flat on the back, so I found this outlet online, and they have a couple of like prong things on the side, so that's how I'm able to like get it to be like flat in the back. So I'm not really using all of the outlets that it has, but I really just needed those side outlets to lay flat. So I wouldn't have to make like these pieces here are a way to get the piece to float off the wall, and I needed that because the wires were coming out too much from the back. So I have 4 on every side, and it's actually induces a nice effect because it has like a floating wall effect. Okay, and then the cord can just go out the bottom. I actually made a hole here so the cord could sit into it, but then after making those 4 pieces, I didn't really need that hole. So what else? That's basically the whole deal. I'm gonna create a piece that is a board that covers up everything so that it is nice and secure on the back. That's the way that worked. For me, it might work differently for you. Basically, this is all to say is like if you want to integrate Arduino, there are a couple ways you can do it, and that's my puppy in the background if you can hear it squeaking. A better way to integrate Arduino is to sort of think like an engineer and do a lot of planning, a lot of sketching, a lot of measuring in advance. Just think about it. How am I going to make this thing work? How am I going to hide things? How am I going to like get back to things to fix it later? But if you're like me, you're a very painterly person and you're a process-based person. I do a little bit of sketching. I maybe measure once, but I'll forget to measure twice, and I'll mismeasure all the freaking time, but that's just the way I am, and I've accepted that about myself. So during the process, I'll just come up with solutions to make it work and make it function, and I'll like rebuild things mid-process. That's not exactly like, it kind of is frustrating sometimes, but that's just me. So yeah, I can't wait to see what ways y'all come up with to integrate Arduino into your own work.